Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack a massive, almost invisible challenge in the tech industry right now, the hiring gap. We're investigating the Correct Code Talent Partnership, and we're going to see why their specific approach to talent development just makes absolute sense. And I don't just mean for software engineers, but for product owners, hiring teams, recruiters, and technical leaders across the board.
Right off the bat, we have to talk about the central mystery of modern technical hiring. I mean, we have all seen this happen, right? A candidate comes in, their resume is completely stacked, they hit every single keyword, and they just ace the interview. It's a slam dunk. But then, a few months into the actual job, they're struggling. They're failing to deliver, or they're just totally overwhelmed by the environment. It really begs the question, if passing an interview is supposed to guarantee success, why do so many highly qualified candidates still fail the second they hit real production?
Well, that brings us to our first core concept, the missing talent link. Now, what's really interesting about this is the massive paradigm shift in how we actually view talent. On one side, you've got appearing qualified. This is basically what our current hiring pipelines are built to do, right? They optimize for resume keywords, coding tests, and interview performance. But on the flip side, we have prepared to succeed. The profound difference here is that simply appearing qualified is not the same thing at all as being prepared to handle serious ambiguity and navigate messy, real-world production environments.
So let's play detective for a minute and start diagnosing the actual gap. When you look at the evidence, when a technical hire fails, it is almost never because they lack a keyword on a resume or they just forgot how to write a function. No, they fail because of intense real-world pressures. Think about it. They enter an environment where the requirements are totally unclear. They immediately face complex architectural trade-offs, stressful deployment concerns, the heavy weight of production pressure, and these really rigorous communication expectations they just weren't fully prepared for. This is the messy reality of the job, and it's fundamentally different from a sterile controlled interview setting. Now, the standard industry response to this has always been, generic onboarding or some off-the-shelf training. But generic training completely misses the real problem. It just fails. If an engineer is struggling with the specific architectural trade-offs of your team's unique deployment environment, handing them a one-size-fits-all coding tutorial isn't going to save them, right? It doesn't address those specific role-aligned gaps.
Which leads us directly into the Correct Code solution.
So the crucial point is how Correct Code positions this partnership around their 90-day system design and DevOps bootcamp. Listen, this is not generic training. It's a strictly role-aligned development program. It gives engineers a structured way to grow far beyond just their interview performance. It heavily emphasizes technical reasoning, system design, DevOps, making architecture decisions, and hands-on practice. Basically, the exact kind of high-stakes work they're actually going to face after they get the job.
Let's walk through how this practically happens. It's a snappy, three-step procedure that builds a roadmap directly around the candidate's actual gap. Step 1, the CCF assessment steps in to identify exactly what that gap is between the client's expectations and the candidate's reality. Step 2, a tailored curriculum actually develops those missing skills. And then Step 3, a consultant helps the candidate apply those newly acquired skills right there in the context of their actual job. It constantly asks, what does this specific person need right now to be ready for this specific environment?
Let's shift gears and look at the stakeholder matrix to see the broader impact here.
And this brilliantly illustrates how this preparation layer radically impacts literally everyone involved in the hiring pipeline. It's a huge win across the board. For recruiters and talent partners, it creates a way stronger bridge between qualification and performance. They can still source, screen, and place talent beautifully, but Correct Code adds that preparation layer so the candidate actually performs after the interview. The engineer? They become vastly more capable and prepared. And the product owner gets significantly better technical partners.
I actually want to deep dive specifically into the product owner's perspective for a second because the value here is just massive. Product owners depend on engineers who can do way more than just write code. They need partners who can actually understand the business goals, who can reason through ambiguity without panicking, ask much better questions, explain technical trade-offs simply, and take totally vague requirements and turn them into practical, technical decisions. A stronger engineer in this system means less confusion, way less rework, and far better product alignment from day one.
Let's move to outcomes over qualifications and see how this builds our final takeaway.
Because this quote perfectly captures the core thesis of this entire explainer. It's the ultimate philosophical shift. It is not only about getting someone hired, it is about helping engineers become ready for the systems, decisions, communication, and ownership the role actually requires. That is absolutely crucial.
We have to reframe talent development around actual production outcomes. In short, recruiters qualify the talent, correct code prepares the talent, engineers become more capable, and product owners get better technical partners. Everyone does what they do best.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Look at your own technical teams. Look at your onboarding processes and ask yourself honestly, is your hiring pipeline just qualifying talent based on resume keywords, or is it actually preparing them to succeed in the messy, high-stakes reality of real-world production? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you a powerful new perspective on how we can finally close the technical hiring gap.